Now, on the subject of rare varieties, if you're going to plant just one apple tree in your garden, probably it doesn't want to be a rare variety. It probably wants to be something regular, you know, a good, productive, steady cropper like Lord Lambourne or Egremont Russet or Sunset. But if you have, say, 10 apple trees, or even 5, probably one of them should be a rare variety. This is some Hoins Golden Renette. It's a Dutch apple. It's got a flat sort of appearance to it. It's got a unique texture. It's I can't describe it very well. It's neither crunchy nor chewy. It's sort of halfway in between, almost crumbly. A lot of people really don't like the texture of it. I do quite like it. It's a very long keeper, unusual apple. We bought it on a recommendation from a book. Lawrence Hill said it is the best of this kind of apple, which is a funny sort of recommendation. You know, you say Larry Manilow or Barry Manilow is the best of this kind of singer. Maybe if you hate that kind of singer. It's a funny little apple. This one is much more widely known. This is called Adam's pearmain. I won't put up too much information right now about this. I've put some up elsewhere. Adam's pearmain. It's called a pearmain because of its tapering shape. It looks a bit like a pear in the shape of it. The nomenclature of apples, by the way, does not necessarily follow any very well-defined rules, but this is a pearmain because of the shape. Here's another tree of the very same variety, and this is a long-keeping apple. It's ready to. It's mid-season to mid to late season. It's not a very long keeper, but it's a well-flavoured apple. One reason I really particularly recommend Adam's pearmain, if you want to go something that's a little bit unusual and keep a bit of apple DNA alive, is that this is quite disease resistant. I'm not saying it never gets any problems with scab or any other problems, but it's a very old variety and it has quite good disease resistance. I've said elsewhere and I'll say again that I think keeping alive old varieties which were grown for hundreds of years before it became possible to spray with pesticides, now due to intelligent selection by thoughtful gardeners, those are going to be tougher varieties, okay? And some of the modern varieties which have emerged during the age of pesticide, I don't want to go on about pesticide, I've said what I've had to say about it elsewhere. Some of them are so soft they just will not survive without heavy inputs. So that's one reason for keeping old apples alive. We need their DNA. And this is another apple which I highly commend. This is a rare variety called Pitmaston pineapple. Like the other apples I've just shown you, this is one that we had never tasted before. They're beginning to fall now, we need to pick them. We had never tasted this before we tasted the first specimen which came from our own tree, which we got from a rare nursery. I often joke that it became inevitable that I would plant a rare breeds apple orchard because I spent so much time reading about these wonderful apples, the Adam's pearmain, the Orleans renette, the Pitmaston pineapple, the Ribston pippin. Eventually I just had to find out what these beautiful apples tasted like, so the only way to do that was to plant my own orchard. So I did. Interestingly, that's carrying quite a good crop, and so is the tree behind it. This one isn't. I'm not quite sure why that is. You see it's the same variety. The lesson of that is don't give up if you see one tree that isn't performing terribly well. And one more rare apple, just looking at a few rare apples in this little corner. This is St. Edmunds pippin. Now this tree is it's a russeted apple. It's got a lovely colour to it. It's quite a small apple, but this year, because it took damage from the red spider mite, very severe, it hasn't given us a good crop at all. It's a light cropper, very high quality apple. It doesn't normally make much of a size, and a few specimens here we will just keep for our exhibition purpose at our Apple Day event. We're not going to take this to market, we often do, but we won't be taking these ones to market. And we've got a few other rare apples around here. So on the subject of rare and uncommon apples, my advice is if you're planting a backyard orchard, if you've just got three or four fruit trees, then you may want to have an early apple, a mid-season apple, a late-keeping apple, and then maybe a pear or maybe a plum. And you'll probably want to go for mainstream varieties and think about regular cropping and a succession of ripening times, and you probably won't want to put a rare variety in. But if you're planting 10 apples, or you're a little bit adventurous, or you're really excited about some of the varieties that you've read about, then it is a good thing, it is a worthy thing to keep some of the genetics of these old varieties alive. And these are a few of the rare apples that we grow. Of all of them, of the ones I've just shown you, I think they all have their benefits. Pitmaston pineapple because of its absolutely wonderful flavour. Adam's pearmain because of its disease resistance, which is so important. We can't afford to lose disease resistant genes in apples. And the others are a little quirky. And you know, I could go on. We have a number of other rare varieties, but don't get obsessed with rare varieties. If you can keep 1 or 2 rare varieties going, then you'll be doing humanity a service in a small way, and you may well enjoy them. But Pitmaston pineapple actually, it's just got fantastic flavour. That's the one we have customers come back begging for, and that would be one of my top 10, maybe even top 5. If I could only have 5 apple trees, probably my rare one would probably be the Pitmaston pineapple because of its truly marvellous exotic tropical fruit sort of flavour, and it is a lovely little apple, isn't it? You know, if these came from Malaysia and were called something exotic, people would probably pay, you know, £6 a kilo for them. The exclusive dinner parties. As it is, they're on the verge of extinction.